I wiped the rain from my face. Hell, maybe it was sweat, and forced a grin, the kind you plaster on when life's already kicked you in the teeth that week. My ex, Tyler, had cleared out 2 days ago, leaving behind a half-empty closet and a fridge full of craft beer we'd never finish. Yeah, Ethan, sure. Gimme a sec. I grabbed my toolkit from under the sink, the one with the mini screwdriver and that ancient laptop cord I'd MacGyvered a dozen times for freelance gigs. At 28, I was the building's unofficial tech whisperer, the guy folks called when Netflix buffered or Zoom froze mid-layoff call. It paid in six-packs and small talk, which was more than I could say for my graphic design side hustle these days. Ethan's place smelled like aged leather and fresh ground coffee, a far cry from my stale takeout haze. He lived in 3B, the mirror image of my 3A, but his side screamed, "I've got stories I'll never tell." Exposed brick walls lined with dog-eared paperbacks, Hemingway, Kerouac, a dog-whipped copy of Giovanni's Room that made my chest tighten. A turntable spun low in the corner, Coltrane sax weaving through the downpour outside. "Routers in the kitchen," he muttered, leading me past a kitchenette cluttered with takeout containers and a half-built model ship on the counter. His hands, calloused from years as a union carpenter, I figured, fidgeted with the hem of his shirt, knuckles white. We hunched over the blinking modem, my fingers flying through the reset dance. Unplug, count to 30, plug back in, pray to the bandwidth gods. Ethan loomed close, his breath warm against my neck, smelling faintly of bourbon and pine. Too close. The kind of proximity that sparks in a blackout, but here the lights were on, fluorescent and unforgiving. "You got magic hands, Jack," he said, voice dropping an octave, his knee brushing mine under the table. I laughed it off, heat crawling up my spine. Tyler's ghost still fresh, whispering, "Don't be stupid, not again." But as the Wi-Fi bars climbed back to life, Ethan didn't pull away. He poured us shots from a bottle of Boo Light on the fridge, clinking glasses with a nod that felt like a dare. To neighbors who saved the day, and nights. His gaze lingered, tracing the line of my jaw like he was memorizing it for a sketch. I swallowed hard, the rye burning a path straight to the doubts Tyler had planted. "You're too soft, Jack. Too quick to fall." But Ethan's eyes held no mockery, just a raw, unguarded pull that made the room shrink to the space between us. We talked, or rather, he talked, and I listened, hooked like a fish on his line. Born in Queens, he'd clawed his way through the trades, building high-rises that scraped the skyline while his own dreams crumbled under the weight of bad breaks. Divorced 15 years back, no kids, just a string of bar stools and regrets. "Life's a busted scaffold, kid," he said, swirling his glass. "You build it tall, but one loose bolt and it all comes crashing." His laugh was bitter, self-deprecating, but when he looked at me, it softened into something almost tender. I spilled a little too, about Tyler's ghosting, the freelance drought, how Brooklyn felt like a beautiful trap closing in. Ethan nodded, not with pity, but recognition. "Sounds like you're carrying the load solo. Ain't right." By the time the rain eased to a drizzle, we'd migrated to his couch, the model ship forgotten. He showed me photos on his phone, grainy shots from his Navy days, younger Ethan grinning on a carrier deck, salt spray in his hair. That was before I knew what I was hiding from. He murmured, thumb brushing mine as he scrolled. The air thickened, charged like the storm outside. I should have left then, bolted back to my side of the wall with excuses about deadlines. But his hand found my shoulder, heavy and sure, thumb tracing the curve of my collarbone through my damp shirt. "Stay a bit, Jack. Company's better than the silence." Heart pounding, I leaned in, or maybe he did. Our lips met tentative at first, a question hanging in the salt of his skin. Then deeper, urgent, his stubble scraping mine like sandpaper on silk. Ethan's hands roamed, mapping me with the reverence of a man starved, pulling me onto his lap as Coltrane wailed on. It was messy, electric, fingers fumbling buttons, breaths ragged against throats. He tasted like regret and redemption, whispering my name like a prayer as we tumbled to the rug, bodies aligning in a rhythm older than the city hum outside. After, we lay tangled, his chest rising and falling under my cheek, the tattoo on his pec, a faded anchor, rising with each breath. "Didn't plan on this," he said softly, fingers combing my hair. "But damn if it don't feel right." I traced the ink, pulse still racing. For the first time since Tyler, the ache in my chest eased, replaced by a warmth I hadn't dared hope for. Little did I know, Ethan's plans were just unfurling, threads of a tapestry woven with secrets that would bind us tighter than I ever imagined, or tear us apart. The next morning, sunlight sliced through his blinds like Judgment Day. I woke to the sizzle of eggs, Ethan at the stove in boxers, humming an old Sinatra tune. Figured you'd need fuel after last night. He slid a plate over, eyes crinkling with that boyish grin that belied his years. We ate cross-legged on the floor, knees bumping, trading stories over coffee black as tar. He asked about my art, sketches I'd pinned up in my place, half-finished portraits of strangers on the subway. You see people, Jack? The real shit under the masks. That's rare. By noon, I was back in 3A, laptop humming with fresh ideas, Ethan's number burning in my phone. Texts pinged throughout the day. Missed that smile already. Dinner tonight? I grinned like an idiot, fingers flying back affirmations. It felt easy, unforced, like slipping into a well-worn jacket on a crisp fall day. That evening, we hit a dive bar in Williamsburg, neon buzzing over sticky floors. Ethan ordered whiskies neat, his arms slung casual around my shoulders as we watched a drag queen lip-sync to Bowie. To us, he toasted, clinking my glass, his free hand squeezing my thigh under the table. Heat pooled low, but it was the way he looked at me, steady, unguarded, that hooked deepest. Nights blurred into a rhythm, stolen hours in his bed, bodies learning each other like Braille. He'd wake me with coffee and kisses, tracing lazy patterns on my back as we talked dreams deferred. Ethan confessed he'd always known about the men in fleeting Porttown hookups, the crushes buried under straight-laced facades. Hit it good till now. Till you. I shared my fears. The family back in Ohio who'd cut ties when I came out at 19, the parade of apps that left me hollow. With him, it was different. Raw, real, a bridge over the chasm Tyler had left. But cracks spiderwebbed early. One night, mid-thrust, his phone buzzed insistent on the nightstand. He glanced, face shuddering like a storm front. Work, he muttered, silencing it. I nodded, but the seed planted. Who was calling at 2 a.m.? Days later, rifling his kitchen for matches, I found it, a faded photo tucked in a drawer. Ethan, younger, arm around a woman in a sundress, her smile radiant. Laura, 1998 scrawled on the back. My stomach twisted. Divorced, sure, but why hide it like contraband? I confronted him over takeout lo mein, chopsticks paused midair. Ethan, the picture. You said it was clean, but... He sighed, setting his bowl down, hazel eyes clouding. It is clean, Jack. She left when the lies got too heavy. I couldn't give her what she deserved. Kids, the white picket dream. Told her about the other side late. She bolted. His voice cracked, hand reaching for mine. But that's ancient history. You're mine now. I wanted to believe him, pulled him close instead, letting his kisses erase the doubt. Yet in quiet moments, it lingered, a shadow in our sunlit afternoons. Weeks in, he sprang the plan casual over pancakes. Got tickets to the Met Friday. That new queer art exhibit, figures you'd dig it. My heart swelled. No one had ever synced so seamless to my world. We wandered galleries hand in hidden hand, whispering over Basquiat's jagged strokes, his thumb stroking my palm like a secret code. Dinner after at a candlelit bistro in the village, where he raised a glass, to plans I never knew I had, till you showed up. Laughter bubbled, but his eyes held a depth, a promise laced with peril. That night, back in his arms, vulnerability cracked him open. Jack, you're pulling me from the wreckage. Don't know what I'd do if... He trailed off, burying his face in my neck. I held him tighter, whispering assurances, our bodies a sanctuary against the world's grind. But as sleep claimed me, his phone lit up again. Unknown, we need to talk. Now. He snatched it, silencing the glow, but not before I glimpsed the preview. Ethan, the money's gone. What about the... Morning brought normalcy. Coffee, croissants, his lips on my temple. But the seed had sprouted thorns. Who was we? What money? I pushed it down, chalking it to paranoia. Tyler's betrayal had wired me for worst case. Still, when Ethan suggested a weekend upstate, just us, cabin in the Catskills, no signals, I jumped, craving the escape. The drive wound through fiery foliage, his hand on my knee, radio crooning Springsteen. The cabin was rustic charm, stone fireplace, loft bed overlooking pines. We chopped wood till sweat slicked, then tumbled inside, making love slow and fierce by the hearth. This is it, Jack, he murmured against my skin. Building something real. Tears pricked my eyes. Hope, sharp as shattered glass. But dusk brought the call. He stepped out, voice low and urgent on the porch. I eavesdropped from the kitchen window, heart hammering. Laura, I told you it's over. The settlement's paid. Leave it. A pause, her voice tinny through the line. You think I don't know about him? The neighbor boy? You're playing house while our life's in ruins. Click. He returned, face ashen, forcing a smile. Drama. Nothing. I pressed, voice steady despite the quake. She knows about me? He nodded, pulling me close. Yeah, and she hates it. But screw her, this is ours. We clung through the night, but trust frayed like old rope. Was I the rebound? The secret to spite her? Dawn broke with him distant, packing early. Gotta handle some loose ends back home. Rain check on the rest. Back in Brooklyn, distance grew. Texts sparse, excuses piling. Over time, migraines. I threw myself into work, sketching Ethan's face in fevered strokes, those eyes, now elusive. Then the knock, mine this time on his door. No answer. Peephole dark. Panic clawed. Had he ghosted like Tyler? Desperation drove me to the bar we'd claimed as ours, nursing a pint alone when my phone buzzed. Ethan, meet me at the pier. Prospect Park. Now. Heart leaping, I bolted, weaving through evening crowds thick with dog walkers and strollers. The pier jutted into the lake like a promise, twilight painting the water bruised purple. He was there, silhouetted against the skyline, hands jammed in pockets, shoulders hunched against the chill. Jack, he started, voice rough as gravel. I fucked up. Big. We walked the path, leaves crunching underfoot, his confession spilling like blood from a fresh wound. Laura wasn't just an ex, she was a storm he'd never outrun. The divorce had gutted him financially. He'd sunk their savings into a bad real estate flip, a brownstone in Bed-Stuy that foreclosed last year. Now she was back, clawing for more, threatening to expose his lifestyle to his union buddies, the old guard who still whispered slurs over lunch pails. She's got proof, old emails, photos from my wilder days. Says if I don't cough up 10 grand, she'll burn it all down, including us. Us. The word landed soft, a lifeline in the gale. I stopped, turning him to face me, hands framing his jaw, stubble rough, eyes stormy. Then we fight it together. You're not hiding anymore, Ethan. Not from her, not from me. He searched my face, doubt warring with want. Then crushed me close, kiss fierce and salt-tanged, park shadows swallowing our silhouettes. God, Jack, you make me believe in second acts. That night sealed it. Back in his place, we mapped a plan over takeout and bourbon. I'd front what I could from my meager savings, 500, tops, and he'd liquidate tools, call in favors. But more. Therapy, coming out to his crew, building a life unapologetic. He traced my knuckles, voice low. Never thought I'd get this. A partner who sees the mess and stays. Laughter mingled with tears, bodies entwining slow, reverent, each touch a vow against the dark. Days blurred into alliance. Mornings, coffee-fueled strategy sessions, me hacking together a budget spreadsheet while he paced, dialing lawyers. Afternoons, stolen escapes, picnics in the garden, where he'd feed me strawberries, fingers lingering on my lips, whispering poetry pilfered from his bookshelves. You're my anchor, Jack. Steady when I'm adrift. Evenings ignited, slow dances in his living room to Miles Davis, shirts discarded, skin fever hot, as we chased oblivion in each other. But Laura's shadow loomed. A letter arrived, certified, formal, demanding assets, citing emotional fraud. Ethan's hands shook as he read it aloud, voice breaking on her accusations. You lied to me for years, hid your perversions. Now you parade it with that boy? I'll drag you through hell. Rage boiled in me, protective and primal. She's weaponizing hate. We countersue, defamation, harassment. He pulled me onto the couch, foreheads pressed. My brave kid, what did I do to deserve you? Intimacy deepened in the fire. One rain-lashed night, post-argument with her attorney, he came to me shattered, vulnerable in a way that stripped him bare. Hold me, Jack. Just hold. We didn't make love. We simply were, spooned under quilts, his breath sinking mine, confessions murmured into darkness. First time I saw you in the hall, hauling boxes, all earnest and lost. Knew I was gone. But the age, the baggage, I thought you'd run. I kissed his temple, tasting salt. Never. You're my harbor, Ethan. Storms and all. Yet doubt crept insidious. Whispers from building gossips. Heard the old guy's got a sugar boy now. Careful, kid, he's trouble. Tyler texted out of nowhere. Heard you're shacking with a daddy type. Slumming, stirring old insecurities. Was I the rebound, the youthful salve for his midlife fracture? Ethan sensed it, doubling down. Surprise tickets to a Broadway revival of Angels in America, where we wept openly in the dark, hands clasped through tales of plague and love defying ruin. Post-show, over late-night diner pie, he dropped the bomb soft. I'm retiring the hammer next year. Thinking graphic design firm, partner with you. We build something ours. Vision sparked, shared studio, our art fused. My digital strokes, his hand-carved frames. Joy surged, but so did fear. What if Laura torpedoed it? That night, passion crested wild. Him pinning me to the wall, growls low as we claimed each other, marks blooming like badges of belonging. Laura escalated mid-November, tailing him from a union meet. Tires screeching as she cornered him in our lot, screams echoing. Thief. Liar. You'll pay for ruining me. I raced down, phone recording, pulling him inside as neighbors gawked. She lunged, nails raking air, spitting venom. He's poison, boy. Using you like he used me. Door slammed, locks clicked, but tremors lingered. Ethan collapsed against me, sobs racking his frame. I'm sorry, Jack. Dragging you into this shit show. I rocked him, fierce. We're in it. Together. But alone later, scrolling her public Facebook, bitter posts veiled in victimhood, I glimpsed the fracture, her isolation, the empty house, rage masking grief. Pity flickered, humanizing the monster. Could I reach her? Bridge the hate? Ethan's birthday fell on a crisp Saturday, leaves carpeting McCarran Park like confetti. I blindfolded him, leading to a picnic spread, craft brews, charcuterie from that fancy deli, a sketchbook filled with our future, doodles of studios, trips to Provincetown, intertwined initials etched in wood. He unwrapped the blindfold, eyes misting. Jack, this is everything. We made love under a willow, autumn sun dappling skin, laughter mingling with moans as joggers blurred past oblivious. But evening brought intrusion, a knock, her, flowers in hand, face contrite. Ethan, please. One talk. For closure. He glanced at me, jaw tight. I nodded, heart pounding. In his kitchen, voices low, I hovered in the hall. Please turned accusations, then sobs. Hers, unraveling the knot of 20 years. I loved you. Still do, in pieces. But this. Him. It kills me. Ethan's reply, steady. I love him, Laura. Holy. Let us go. She left broken, but a truce glimmered. Lawyers to mediate, no more threats. Relief washed us, champagne popped, bodies celebrating in sudsy baths and tangled sheets. You saved me, he breathed, fingers in my hair. No, I countered. We saved each other. Winter crept in, snow dusting fire escapes like powdered sugar. Holidays loomed, fraught. My family's silence an annual gut punch, his solitude a chosen exile. We forged our own, tree trimmed with handmade ornaments, feast of 7 fishes scavenged from markets, toast to resilience. Under lights, he knelt. Not proposal, but promise. A carved box with keys to a joint lease downtown. Build with me, Jack. For real. Tears fell, yes, mine his, as we sealed it with salt and sweat, the city a glittering witness. But fate's a fickle carpenter. The next call shattered the joists. It came Valentine's week, anonymous tip to his union hall. Leaked emails, minefield of his past flings, painted predatory. Whispers turned shouts, perv in the ranks, suspension pending investigation. Ethan came home hollowed, badge tossed on the table. They're gunning for me. Her doing, or some bigots. Doesn't matter, I'm out. Rage, grief, we spiraled. I held him through nights of silence, days of appeals. We'll pivot, I urged, resumes flying. But fracture lines deepened, my freelance boom clashing his limbo, unspoken resentments bubbling. One fight erupted raw. You're retreating, Ethan. Like with her, walls up when it hurts. He fired back. And you're pushing, kid. Think you can fix me like your damn routers. Words hung venomous, door slammed on my exit. Alone in 3A, regret choked. Had love been illusion, a scaffold too flims. Reconciliation brewed slow, over bodega coffee at dawn, me slipping his key under the door with a note. We're stronger than this. Come home. He did. Hours later, eyes red-rimmed, arms enveloping. Forgive me, Jack. Fear's my old enemy. We talked till hoarse, therapy appointments booked, support groups scouted, vowing transparency. Intimacy reignited tentative, soft touches rebuilding trust, kisses deepening to anchors. Spring thawed the chill, union cleared him. Anonymous source recanted, Laura's alibi ironclad elsewhere. Vindication tasted sweet. We celebrated rooftop, skyline ablaze, his hand in mine as stars pricked the velvet dark. To rising, he toasted, pulling me flush. Below, Brooklyn pulsed, horns blaring, laughter spilling from bars, a symphony to our survival. Plans solidified. The firm launched modest, my designs in his frames. First client, a queer nonprofit needing branding. Late nights in our new loft, creaky floors, view of the bridge, humming with creation. He'd sneak kisses mid-sketch, stubble tickling my ear. Genius. Pride swelled. Mutual. His first solo exhibit at a local gallery. Carved pieces evoking loss and longing. Me in the front row, heart bursting. But betrayal's blade, when it fell, sliced deepest from within. Summer heat wave. AC busted. We escaped to Coney Island. Boardwalk thrills. Nathan's hot dogs. His laughter booming as we rode the cyclone. Wind whipping confessions. Marry me, Jack? Not papers, souls. Vows under these lights. Elation crested. I nodded, yes, tumbling breathless. Back home, unpacking cotton candy and shells, his phone chimed, insistent. He stepped away, but carelessness betrayed. Screen unlocked, messages aglow. Ethan, tonight? Usual spot. Miss you. Attached, photo, intimate. Him, bare-chested, time-stamped last month. Sender. M. Mark? Stomach plummeting, I scrolled. Weeks of meetups, alibis mirroring his overtime. Hearts and flames emoji mocking our sanctuary. Confrontation brewed volcanic. He returned whistling, froze at my face, thunderous, betrayed. Jack, wait. But I thrust the phone, voice steel. Who the fuck is M? While I poured everything, while we fought your wars. Denial crumbled fast, tears tracked his cheeks. It was escape. The stress, the scrutiny. One slip, then habit. Stupid, selfish. Ended it, swear. Lies unraveled, not ended. Ongoing, guilt-fueled trysts in motels. Whispers of just sex, not love. Revulsion surged, hot and humiliating. I was your beard, the noble project while you chased ghosts. He lunged, grasping, no, you're everything. This, weakness, not want. Fists clenched, I shoved free, storming out into neon night. Sobs choking as subway rattled home. Days blurred agony, radio silence from him, my world ash. Tyler's words echoed, too soft, but this cut bone deep. Ethan's duplicity a mirror to every fear. Friends rallied, drag brunches, gym sessions, sketches purging pain in jagged lines. Yet nights haunted, his scent on my pillow, phantom touches aching. He persisted, flowers at work, notes slipped under doors. I'm broken without you. Therapy, solo. Change. I resisted, armor forged in hurt. But fracture called, gallery opening. His, unmissable. I went, incognito in crowd, watching him mingle, silver fox charming, eyes scanning desperate for me. When our gazes locked, plea raw. Stay. Talk. After, in alley shadows, truths poured. Mark was regret incarnate, faceless, fleeting. You're the face I see in dreams, the hand I crave. Sobs racked him, 53 years vulnerability laid bare. Pity ward fury. I walked, but seeds of mercy stirred. Weeks ground, block numbers, deleted sketches. Then crisis, his text, frantic, accident. Hospital, please. Heart lurching, I raced to ER. Mount Sinai, sterile halls, echoing dread. He lay bandaged, arm in cast from ladder fall at a Reno site. Solo job, no spotter, grief's toll. Jack, he rasped, 4 dripped eyes locking. Don't go, not like this. Vigil held, nights in vinyl chairs, his hand limp in mine, monitors beeping absolution. Confessions flowed morphine loose. Boyhood crushes crushed under fists, Navy secrets buried at sea. Laura's love a cage he'd rattled till it broke. You freed me, then I caged myself. Forgive? Or end it clean? Tears mingled, I squeezed tighter. Healing's not linear, Ethan. But trust, that's shattered glass. Discharge brought limbo. Him to my couch, crutches clacking, our space tentative. Caretaking blurred lines, sponge baths intimate, averted eyes. Meals shared, silences thick. One eve, post-dinner, he cracked, leave if you must. Deserve better. But staying felt right. Humanity in the mess, love not blind but bespectacled. Therapy bridged, joint sessions, raw as open veins. His, unpacking betrayal's roots and shame. Mine, voicing wounds, rebuilding boundaries. Progress incremental, nights apart, then together, touches chased till trust regrew. Summer waned, heat breaking to autumn bite. So did we, fragile, reforged. Betrayal scar, tissue toughened us. He volunteered at the center, mentoring tradesmen grappling closets. I channeled pain into art. Exhibit, fractured anchors, pieces evoking rupture and repair, sold out on opening night. Ethan front row beaming. Post-show toast. Proud of you, partner. Word tentative, testing, mine to claim. Yet doubts echo lingered. Late October, Laura surfaced, not venom, but olive branch, coffee meat, neutral ground. She arrived worn, lines deeper, eyes softened. Saw his show. Your influence. Talk meandered. Shared pains of loving him. Her grief not hate, but loss. He broke me, but you mended something. Truce unspoken. She left lighter, secrets hers to hold. Ethan's reaction. Relief, then fear. What did she say? Honesty my vow. All unvarnished. He exhaled, pulling me close. Brave man. My man. That night. Barriers fell gentle. Love-making rediscovered. Slow as healing rain. Bodies whispering forgiveness in every curve. But climax brewed unseen. November gale, winds howling off the East River, brought the storm. Anonymous package, USB drive, labeled truth. I plugged in alone. Ethan at a late shift, videos grainy, damning. Him and Mark, post-tryst, laughing over drinks. Then darker, arguments. Mark pleading more than this. Ethan stonewalling. Culminating. Audio, his voice cold. You're fun, kid. But Jack? He's the real deal. End of story. Twist gutted. Not just slip, but calculation. Mark a pawn in self-sabotage, testing my limits? Rage boiled anew. Confrontation timed for his return, drive clutched like evidence. He entered whistling, shed coat, froze at my fury, face crumpling. Jack, what? Playback echoed, his denials dying in the tinny speakers. It was closure, he begged, knees buckling. Told him straight. Chose you. Proved it to myself. But hurt overrode. You gambled us. For what absolution? Shouts escalated, furniture toppled. I stormed, doors slamming final. Brooklyn streets swallowed me, rain mingling tears, betrayal's double edge, love's cruel jest. Was redemption myth, or could we salvage? Solitude's mercy. Days bled into weeks, no contact, his texts unread, my sketches abandoned. Friends urged moving on. He's toxic, Jack. Walk. But heart rebelled, tethered to memories, his laugh in dawn light, hands steadying my storms. Therapy solo now, unpacking codependence, worth beyond wreckage. Strength bloomed quiet, new clients, gallery scouts, a life reclaiming color. He respected space, but echoes pursued. Mutual acquaintances whispering his spiral, booze benders, union quit, loft sublet. Pity stirred, unbidden, humanity's curse, loving the flawed. Thanksgiving alone, turkey microwaved, wine toasting ghosts, Tyler's abandonment, Ethan's duplicity, my resilience. Catalyst cracked winter's ice, Christmas Eve, blizzard burying the city, power flickering. Knock insistent. Him, snow-dusted, eyes hollowed by shadows, bottle clutched like talisman. Not asking forgiveness. Just, don't be alone tonight. Frailty disarmed. I stepped aside, door creaking concession. Fireplace crackled, mulled wine steaming. Silence companionable at first, then fracturing. He spoke unprompted, sold the tools. Started over, bartending at that dive, nights free for carving small stuff. Therapy's sticking, Mark's ancient, blocked every way. Pauses heavy, gaze averted. Miss you, Jack. The man I was with you, not this shell. Honesty's blade turned inward. My confessions, flings post-Tyler, doubts in our blaze. You weren't soul sinner. But the lie, it eviscerated. Tears traced his cheeks, hand hovering. Mine met it, bridge tentative. No rush to bed. Instead, stories swapped. His Navy tales vivid, my Ohio holidays bittersweet. Laughter crept, fragile as first thaw. Dawn brought clarity. Stay for Christmas? He nodded, relief palpable. Day unfolded gentle, tree unearthed, ornaments hung with care, his carved star atop. Feast scavenged, ham, pie from corner bakery, toast to survival. Afternoon walk, snow crunching, hands brushing accidental, then intentional, gloves shed, fingers lacing cold but sure. Intimacy rekindled slow, New Year's, loft aglow with strings, countdown ticking. At midnight, kiss tentative, testing, tasting forgiveness. Happy, he whispered. Happier. I replied, truth's weight lifting. Bodies followed memory, but altered, gentler, grateful, scars mapping paths anew. Spring heralded rebirth, joint therapy thriving, boundaries etched firm, weekly check-ins, no shadows. Firm flourished, our collab exhibit in Chelsea, mended joists, critics praising raw queer resilience. Opening night, his arm around me, flashes popping. Later, hotel suite, celebrations fervent, love reclaimed, fierce and free. Yet human frailty lingered, minor quakes tested, his ex-drink relapse, nipped early, my jealousy flare over a flirty client, aired open. Each forged deeper, vows renewed casual, over diner hash, partners, always. Laura faded, letter arriving spring, well wishes enclosed, closure sealed. Summer solstice, Catskills cabin revisited, anniversary of our spark. Porch swing creaking, stars wheeling overhead. He carved our initials into railing, knife steady. From Wi-Fi fixed to this. Never imagined. I leaned into him, head on shoulder. Best plot twist. But narrative arcs demand tension. Autumn brought shadows whisper. Health scare. His routine check flagging irregular heartbeat. Cardiologist stern. Stress legacy. Slow down or pay. Fear gripped. Time's thief. Stealing tomorrows. Hospital vigil reversed. Me pacing. Him reassuring Rye. Ain't going nowhere, kid. Got plans. Recovery reframed us. Walks prescribed. Diet enforced. Intimacy adapted. Pillows propped. Touches tender. Strength in vulnerability. His, admitting mortality's bite. Mine, vowing presence, undimmed. Exhibit followed. Heartbeat havens. Art evoking pulse and pause. Proceeds to heart health for LGBTQ plus elders. His cause, our legacy. Winter's end. 1 year post-betrayal. We stood bridge-spanned. East River churning below. He knelt proper now. Rings simple. Silver band etched with anchors. Marry me, Jack? Mess and all. Laughter bubbled. Tears free. Yes. Wholeheartedly. Ceremony intimate. Rooftop. Spring bloom. Friends toasting under lanterns. Vows raw. His, gravel voice cracking. You saw my ruins, build cathedrals. Mine, steady. In your plans, I found mine. Dance floor hours alone first. Coal train spinning. Bodies swaying. World fading to us. Years unfurled tapestry. Firm expanded. Travels woven. Provincetown dunes, hand in hand. Paris attics. Sketches shared. Conflicts came. Arguments over budgets. Silences post-fights. But resolutions quicker. Love's muscle-toned. His heart steadied. Mine expanded. Family mended slow. My folks' letter, tentative invite. Bridge crossed ginger. At 30, I reflected. From Hook's jolt, that knock and rain, to this harbor. Ethan, 57 now, silver fuller. Eyes still hazel fire. Regrets, he asked one eve, porch swing our throne. None. I lied soft. Truth. Pain's honed joy. You? Only not finding you sooner. Kiss sealed it. Sunset gilding. Plans imagined. Realized. Enduring. In Brooklyn's hum, we thrived. Neighbors no more, but lovers. Builders. Human in flaws grace. Life's scaffold held. Bolts tight. Love the mortar. And in quiet nights, his whisper. Thank you for staying. Mine always.